turn to our social media community here. We do have some questions from there. Can't ignore the social media. And this one's actually from our community forum. One of our valued followers there has a question for Sportsnet, Jamie. So you may not be able to answer this, but I guess just to your own personal anecdotes, feel free. So Jamie, in addition to a 3D monitor, what else do you know would be required to watch a 3D broadcast?
Other than good eyesight, and avoiding getting dizzy at times. Other than a 3D monitor, are you talking in the broadcast booth itself?
I believe it is just specifically to the sports industry. So yeah.
Wow. You know, there's sort of a standard rule in television broadcasting, especially in play-by-play, where you speak to the pictures, and I don't know how much more technology would be available to us in the average broadcast booth. As it stands now, there is 3 monitors and a headset for the microphone, and I doubt it would change very much, because the key is to speak to what you see. What I'm intrigued by is how broadcasting itself is going to change based on the pictures that are going to be provided, because the broadcaster's goal is to speak to the pictures that are shown. And if they change the way they shoot a baseball game because of 3-dimensional, if they change the way they shoot hockey, if they change the way they shoot auto racing, all these different sports, then broadcasters are going to have to evolve too in the way they call the game.
I see Formula One now. We're getting these tiny cameras and you're sticking them in different parts of race cars. I would put cameras in hockey games in the end of sticks. I'd put them in all over the place, and then you'd have an amazing, you'd have gladiator arenas up on the big screen with hockey games.
There's a reason why he's an award-winning art director, right? So, well put, Roger. Another question from our social media community. This one actually comes in from Twitter, and I'll leave this open to, I guess, Eric, because it's more geographic specific. And people have already seen these elaborate Samsung 3D displays over in our home theater booth, specifically at this store, the downtown Toronto store at Yonge Dundas. This particular customer seems to be based out of Edmonton, and she wants to know how long will it take for us to reach our other store markets if they haven't already.
Great. Well, I'm happy to say this is a national launch. So for once, the center of the universe here in Toronto isn't necessarily first, but is sharing the limelight with the rest of the country. So Edmonton will be launching the same date, which is tomorrow, March 26th, Friday. We'll be launching 3D nationally.
Hi there, thanks. My name is Richard Grumberg. I'm actually from Ryerson in the 3D and Advanced Visualization Lab. So we're doing a number of tests and trying to determine sort of how far people are willing to, I know you can't see me there, but hi. I can see you. How far people are willing to go to actually watch 3D in terms of, you know, how long are they willing to wear glasses, how much convergence and divergence are they willing to live with. What are your impressions of, before we do our systematic and controlled studies, what are your impressions as to sort of how long will people be willing to, let's say, wear a set of glasses to watch something? In a programming day, if someone would be watching 5 hours of TV, do you actually think they'd be able to have glasses on for 5 hours watching this?
Good question.
I mean, I don't know how long any stats on how long people typically watch TV in one sitting, but how long was Avatar? It was 2.5, easy. So I mean that's a pretty decent one sitting that you know, really had no sort of ill effects, I didn't hear of anybody having any issue with it. So you know, I think it's difficult to say. You know, I don't think there's been any definitive medical study on any kind of effect on the long-term 3D wear glasses. But as far as one sitting is concerned, you know, I certainly haven't experienced any. I don't know. Do you guys have? No.
No, I'd agree. I think we're at a place now, it's a work in progress, it's a test in progress. This is the first opportunity that anyone's ever had to actually watch 3D for more than the sitting of a movie. To have a 3D television in your home, now you have that opportunity. If you want to watch it for 12 hours, you can do that. And I'm not aware of any physiological studies that have indicated how that goes.
That's actually what we're trying to do. We're trying to actually do the studies to determine how far off axis are people willing, how long are people willing to sort of watch. It's interesting to have you folks, you experts here, to actually hear what your beliefs are in terms of this before we actually go and start the study. We've shot some 3D stuff already with a bunch of the people from Resident Evil and some other places. So we're going to be doing the test to actually find out, but interesting to hear all your thoughts on it.
I think we're infinitely adaptable. There will be people, a video game. There are people who can play a video game for an hour before they get fatigued. There are people who play video games for 12 hours straight, then drink a case of Red Bull and play for another 12 hours straight. So we adapt to the environment, and you know, I can sit there and watch the Godfather trilogy back to back to back. My wife walks out after 5 minutes.
But could you watch it in 3D back to back to back?
I haven't tested my limits yet.
Time will tell.
I'll try though.
We'll see. Yeah,
Great.
it'll become the norm eventually. Once everything's in, you know, it's accelerating very fast. Suddenly I'm looking up there, there's a 3D movie being advertised on the screens here, and they're coming next. So it's look at what happened in a year. It took much longer for DVD and then to come in and Blu-ray to come in. This is coming much faster.
I did note, if I might, that you all said this is something that you feel is an added, this is an added something to what's already there. Sort of HD was a massive, sort of a change in structure and everything. This is now something added. What do you think, and again, this is going to be part of our study, what do you think this added bonus will be in terms of reaction to people, that people will have to this?
Sports, it's a totally different experience. It's very, very different. And if you watch, if you watch any type of sport, you're suddenly in the place where your eyes are seeing it, so you're much closer involved. It seems a much bigger involvement to me within the game, so therefore people are going to watch games on it, and then as this increases, as DVDs increase, as everything increases, television content's going to start being done in 3D. And I cited to them before, they actually filmed the Queen's coronation in 3D, where you got your old glasses from you got them out of the Kellogg's cornflakes box and put on these ones. They just broadcast that 3 weeks ago in Britain in 3D, and people watched it. So it's going to become a norm.
Yeah, you guys touched on 3D's impact on gaming. I was wondering if there's a definitive console that can deliver that 3D HD gaming experience.
At Samsung, we don't make good gaming consoles. I'm sure that the gaming console manufacturers are out there right now, all in their boardrooms trying to figure out who's going to launch first, who's going to launch the best, what they perceive to be the best product. I think it is a quick race to the finish right now. With the launch of these TVs, with the success that we've seen the consumer sell-through in the United States and our anticipated sell-through here in Canada, they're champing at the bit on this one. And it's all about the money. Who gets there first, who gets there best, is going to make a fortune.
I did see a press release just the other day that Nintendo has announced a new DS unit that will be with 3D without glasses. That's what they said. So.
And then Sony has announced PS3 will have a firmware upgrade for 3D at the end of May. So that's what we know.
You've gone into the consumer television now. What about the consumer cameras? Is that the next step? Where people, they want to see their family home videos in 3D. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, with Slumdog Millionaire was shot on a tiny S1 2K camera, which is half of the movie was shot on that. They're about that big, and that's what. There's 2 horror films now being made on it. They've just launched a film in Britain called Street Dancing, which got huge sales. So they're already almost there, and the red cameras are bigger, but these S1 2Ks are being used everywhere now. There's the camera hire places here have got 15 of them. They've got them in Britain. So when you look at those, I'm probably making my next film on those. The quality of, and it's never down to the camera, it's the quality of the recording that matters, how it's recorded. They've accelerated that, so that's going to be, I bet you next year, or this year, even by the end of the year, there'll be 3D other cameras. I don't know if Samsung,
yeah,
but
well,
I'm sure.
Earlier this year at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, in our booth, we actually showed a prototype of a consumer-grade 3D camcorder. I don't have the details yet on when we're going to launch that, but demonstrating an operable prototype and showing the picture live there obviously says that it's going to come out very soon.